Hi, everybody. Mandia on Astral Oracles. This video is an examination of what is going on with the reptilian energy and the draconic ascension. I've done a multitude of videos around this before, so you can go back and watch those if you don't remember a lot of the details about the reptilian energy. But it is essential that it's an energy that tends to move pure spirit from other entities and then concentrate and solidify them into matter. And that is something we're dealing with for better or worse. So they're often connected to the root chakra, this world serpent that lies dormant down at these layers, and moving through a lot of experiences recently and trying to make sense of it. It becomes very interesting to examine this energy in the perspective that what is it that's at the switchboard of human action? It's desire. This is what drives us, or to use the perhaps most technical definition of it, it's what Buddhism refers to as dukkha, this hunger or thirst, that this void that we're trying to fill, and that's very connected to the reptilian energy. And so when you have all these myths, stories, conspiracies, visions, ideas about how the world is run by reptilian energies, I think what it is saying is that power seems to both attract and go with people who are very run by fear codes and possessed by egoic self-awareness. And that's something that's been a certain fact of human existence throughout the millennia. And what you can hope is that the monster there sitting at top, the energetic monster, is one who has figured out its long-term interest in establishing a healthy extraction system. So this is basically how systems of taxation move from basic extortion contracts and into like the wide organizational range of modern states with their dealings in all fetters and all matters and facts of life. So if this system is evoking more energy than it's extracting, if this sort of egoic principle at top is doing that, then it's also driving the process forward. And what seems to be happening with this ascension shift that we've been experiencing since 2020, also in the draconic energy, is that that a part of it is moving towards what we will be looking into, which is the vision both of the ascended man and the ascended dragon. And another part is moving into this slightly ridiculous exposure of itself as very needy, as very hungry, as seeking power, attention, and energy simply for its own sake. And if I were to point out how this expresses itself in the world community, then the reason that we're always talking about the US is, of course, because the US is like the global consolidation of that principle. And so the political leadership of the US sort of becomes the consolidated leadership of the nation that's already on top globally. So that position, of course, attracts a whole lot of attention. And it seems that ever since the 70s, both parties kind of had enough with the sincerity, so they had that experiment with Richard Milhouse Nixon, who was nothing if not a person who had ambitions with the presidency, and I think it is one of the most interesting and strangely troubled, fucked up people of the 20th century. But then, of course, there was Jimmy Carter, who was also unforgivably caring, right? And like did the Malay speech and all that stuff where he pointed out things that were really taking a wrong turn in American culture, and that they never forgave him for that. So ever since that, it's been the idea that the Republican Party, that's, oh, you want some kind of bigoted narcissist showman, and then it can be, oh, this time he made his career chasing communists in the 50s in Hollywood, or oh, this time he used to be like a coked out governor of Texas, and now he's a born again Christian. But it's always bigoted narcissist showmen, and the Democrats are like, oh, you get glib, condescending psychopath in a suit, and sometimes like, oh, the psychopath is a woman, or sometimes like, oh, he could be your granddad, but you wear sun aviator glasses or something. So it's actually not the same exact energetic package that they're giving us every time. Um, and I think what you can hope for is that, like, this personality, essentially dysfunctional personality structure that relies on placing itself there to get validation and get that sense of it, is somehow also embedded in maintaining a sort of stable structure. So some of the characters, for instance, like Augustus or Constantine the Great, who were also these strange psychopathic individuals, but uh, who also organized the state around them in ways that made it incredibly longevital and assured its survival through a lot of upsets. So the idea that the reptilian principle is one that constantly needs to be fed and constantly needs to be regulated, because it wants to sit up there up top and make things static and govern them and extract them, and it can do that in perhaps in slightly helpful ways, because it is so unsentimental. It's not connected to the stirrings of emotion, the vital flow of life force. It's sitting up there in the cold seat of judgment. And on the other hand, of course, I think we don't necessarily perhaps need to examine too much how the world is also in a grave imbalance at the moment, to agree that perhaps the fact that we're run by short-sighted egoic energies, that can also be a little dangerous. Um, so just with those reflections, and thank you for letting me share that, because I'm also trying to map out these things and decompress from some of these ideas. But with those reflections, I want to step aside and get my good old dear old friend Flipkrakrtrukrarr of the Ancient Shapeshifting Reptilians, Dragonlord Flip, to tell us a little about what's going on with the reptilian energy, and how to understand that. So with that, I send you my love out there. Much love, guys. Greetings, dear humans. This speaking, coming to you by voice and by the force of our energy. This is Flipkrakrtrukrar of the Ancient Shapeshifting Reptilians. And I greet you this day. I salute you in power, honor, strength, and love. And I come here to divine for you and to divine for my dear soft muscled human friend here, how our energies are both intertwined and separate. And so I reveal to you as to him that a reason for this communication is to also collect and gather this scattered, soft, muscled energy. See, you human beings, you are indeed swirling cyclones, and your energy goes in many places. And so is it any wonder that you have needed the assistance of other creatures looking on from on high to also help to concentrate and gather these energies, to locate them into pinpoints, to drive them to the top of the pyramid, to distribute them from this place to where these rays of energy may be properly concentrated and applied to drive forward the gears of time and history. Many creatures we have engaged with in our time around this universe. Some of them proved hard to vanquish. Others were willing to cooperate and learn. And yet others readily signed away roles of leadership and the autonomy of will within their dormant systems. So we would provide them with guidance and spare them for the wrathful onslaught of energy not dammed in, not controlled, not used for the irrigation of the soul, but only flooding and destroying everything within. We then accepted your service just as you accepted our leadership. To us, it remains onerous, slightly reprehensible to observe creatures that hold the same power as we, to observe you chain this power to our predilections and dealings. See, our alignment of energy is another one than the one that human beings are concentrated towards. We are more horizontal in our divestments. We wish to close off this circuitry of energy and keep you within it, while you remain vertically ascendant. And so your role as beings is to also pierce the sky and return to that front of being, beyond it, drawing down the light and love that resides there. But do you see how, as we have tightened this noose, closed the circle around you, made it so that air and vitality could not pass through your collective body of humanity in the same helpful way? Do you see how that has driven you to move in to further ascendancy, further power? And now, as you move upwards, you yourself must navigate. You yourselves, you are free to choose, but you are also unfree in that you must choose. Either somebody does it for you, or you do it for yourself. But choice is there, and choice is power. And so you have let us choose for you for a long time. And you have come to believe that the ones among you who were best at aligning with our power and drawing it to us from you, you have come to believe that those people possess the power that you yourself was handing to them. And so this Promethean flame has awakened within you. And this makes you see, often indignantly, often with the rage that accompanies freed energy as it moves into autonomy. With this feeling, you see that your world has also been bound up, managed, governed by parameters of fear, of lack, and of ostracization. And now, as you move in to the wellspring of the whole, to the connectivity of shared human experience, and to the central axis of yourself, your heart, and your divine will, you see that these parameters are yours to recreate. And there you do us a great service, because as you have been chained to us as servants, we have been chained to you as masters. Our agenda here, our sincerest wish, is to learn from you also this independence, this free alignment that does not require any other parameter than the presence of the all within itself to express itself in whatever way it wishes. And so we are no longer satisfied by these bloodletting energies of the past, this drawing in what force we could collect, trying to amass and harness it. We too wish to become bodies of light and to frolic freely in the airs and ethers amongst the stars, exchanging with you as with other bodies of celestial intelligence these magnificent stories that we have jotted down in our divine notebooks and that are now bringing together to understand the whole that we all are. So with that, I, Dragonlord Flipkrakrtrukrarr, I bid you farewell this day with power, honor, strength, love. It was 22:22. I noticed on the timer as I came out of the channeling. It's always a very remarkable energy to interact with. So I hope that served to illuminate you out there. Much love, guys.